Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're doing good today. It's lunchtime. Just got back from a lunchtime hike with the missus. Enjoyed that very much. It's been an awesome day so far. Sitting at home, working away on some projects, preparing for a presentation I have to make later this week in Texas. So I'll be traveling off, hopefully having a good, safe trip and profitable trip along the way. I wanted to talk to you today about something that literally just came up today, and I wanted to share this information with you while it's fresh in my mind. The topic is, should freelancers take on rush jobs? So I've talked to you in the past before about how I do freelance work through sites like Upwork. Actually, they just contacted me today for something special I'm going to be announcing here in a couple of weeks probably. But I had a client actually reach out to me and ask me if I would be interested in doing a rush job for them. They needed some information, a document to be able to present to a potential investor of theirs. This investor had requested that information. They were supposed to prepare the information, but they needed it by no later than Thursday morning, which meant I would have roughly a little bit over 48 hours, frankly, to work on it with everything else that's going on. Have to do that at night, stay up, work on it, all those kinds of things. And I was willing to do that because I have the time to do it, and I thought I could put that document together for them in that amount of time, but I ended up passing on that opportunity, and let me tell you why. It is largely because it is a rush job. They wanted it super quick. One of the things I told them was whenever I have to do a rush job, I actually charge a bit of a premium to do that. So I usually take my flat rate and sometimes will add anywhere from 15 to 25% of that flat rate depending on how quickly they need the rush job. I figure if I'm going to have to be put out and move a lot of things on my calendar, then I should be compensated additionally for that. So that's one of the things I do. But the bigger question is, should you do a rush job in the first place? Well, in this case, I passed on the rush job, and the reason I did that was I did an earlier post for you where I told you that I always try and do a phone call with the clients to understand their expectations, and I offered to do that with them, even though they were in a hurry. Said we could talk today sometime, and they couldn't do that. They weren't able to talk to me, but we were able to exchange messages back and forth. And one of the things I noticed very quickly was their description on their job was very plain. I couldn't understand exactly what they were wanting. And so since they were willing to message, I sent them some follow-on questions. And I said something like, you said this is what you want, but your English is a little broken. I'm not entirely sure what you're wanting. By the way, they're from Canada. Said I'm not entirely sure what you're wanting, so I need you to clarify that for me. And I kept getting really short, quick answers back. I didn't get a lot of explanation of what they were looking for. And again, they were not being real clear in their project description at all. It was actually about 2 sentences. And so they gave me a quick answer, and I came back and I asked another question. I said, well, what industry are you in? And they said, well, didn't you look and see at the document we provided? And I said, well, I asked you above if that document was your document or an example of what you were looking for, because if it's an example, it doesn't tell me what industry you're in at all. So early on, what I was noticing was huge communication issues. Now, that's trouble enough if you're working on a project for a client and you have plenty of time to do it. But imagine the position it puts you in as a freelancer. If you're trying to do work for someone, they want it in about 48 to 72 hours. You're going to have to do all the effort. They are already telling you that they're not going to be available for a lot of communication because if you remember, they couldn't even take time to have a phone call with me to make sure we got this right. And then in the messaging, they weren't being real clear. They were almost using text style responses. Sometimes you'll just do, little symbols to people or quick, yes, no's instead of a full sentence. And I was getting that in my messages. So, if you're going to take rush jobs, it's a good opportunity to perform well for someone that really needs something. But make sure if you're going to take a rush job that it's rewarding for you for taking, extra time out of your schedule to make it happen for them. But also make sure that they're being reasonable about what they're wanting. Again, the other day when I talked about getting rated, top rated designation through Upwork, I laid out some of the ways that I think I've got there. One of the ways I've got there was making sure expectations could be reached. In this case, I didn't think they could at all, so I actually ended up passing on this rush job. I sent the client a message and I told him, I'm just going to withdraw my proposal. You're being too brief and short in your answers, and I don't think I can get even a little bit of information that I'm going to need from you to get this done well. So don't set yourself up for failure. Don't set up your client for a situation where they're not going to be happy, just to make some extra money along the way. Make sure it's going to be a win-win for everybody. And so in my opinion, take rush jobs when you have the freedom to fit it into your schedule. That's 1. 2, you can be rewarded a little extra for getting that done quickly. And three, when the expectations are clear and you've got a client that's at least willing to communicate what they need with you, not just leave it out there and expect you to do all the work. So curious what you think about whether or not freelancers should take on rush jobs. Put your comments below in the video or in the blog comments. And in the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, be sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get more information like this on freelancing and startups along the way. Hope you're having a great Monday. If you're not, try and do something to go out and make it enjoyable. Take care. See you later.